Hello and welcome to Mickey Art. My name is Michelle Edhouse and today I'm going to show you a way to decorate these cute little boxes. So you can use them for gift boxes. You could actually wrap them up and them be a gift because they're going to be so pretty. So one of the things that you need to notice, and I worked this out with that tin I did a few weeks ago, is just how close the fitting of the box is. And with these, they seem to have a quite a close fit. Not enough room to put a big thick layer of paint in between them. So I'm just going to decorate the tops and just put a single layer of paint, just enough to colour it onto the base. So separate those out. One of the things with acrylic pouring, which is what we're going to be doing today, is that your paint needs to be able to drip off the sides and not stick to the bottom, which is why I'm going to put these paint tube lids underneath, just to give us a little bit of height. That lid's a bit thin, so I'm going to swap that one out. Always pays to keep things like lids. You never know what you'll use them for. Sometimes as a lid. It's really bizarre. Anyway, so what I'm using today is just normal acrylic paint, and it has been thinned down to a runny honey kind of consistency. See how it sits up on the stick, but then when I tilt the stick it just runs off in a continual flow. And what I personally use to thin my paints is about 2 parts paint to 1 part Floetrol. Floetrol is a acrylic paint conditioner. It just makes painting easier. It's actually designed for painting houses with, but it extends the wet edge and avoids brush marks and lapping marks. So it's really cool. I really like it. And so I mix it with about 2 parts paint to 1 part Floetrol. I personally use Reeves Fine Artist acrylic paint, and I know people all around the world who use all sorts of different brands. And how does it get any better than that? What concoction do you want to use? What paints do you actually have is another question. Like, you don't have to go running out. If this is just a little pretty gift box to give someone, it doesn't have to be Fine Artist or quality paint. But just have a bit of a play first and get your consistency right and get what you're using to thin it out with, proportion wise. Sometimes they can cause cracking. There's all sorts of different things that can show up. So watch some of my other videos to check that all out. I know some people just use PVA or white glue instead of the Floetrol. Others use both of them, and then just water it down with water to get it to a consistency that you like. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using this icing syringe and putting the paint on, and it's not going to turn out anything like cupcakes or anything bizarre. It doesn't require any practice on how to use the right nozzle or anything. It's just, this is how I'm applying it. You could just put it all in a cup and pour it out. This is what I'm choosing today. So I'm going to put my finger over the end and pour my paints in. So I have got a whole heap of different colors here. I've got the white, I've got crimson red, I've got deep turquoise, I have phthalo blue, copper, silver, and viridian hue. I'm going to start off with the Viridian Hue. I've got very little left of that. And I'm just going to pour it down one side of the syringe. As I said, that's all I've got left. And then I'm going to add some silver and some copper, if it'll come out. I'm running out of colours here, guys. I need to spend some time mixing some paints, to be really honest. See how I'm just adding those, letting them dribble down the side, and they will all end up in the bottom in some sort of madness. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do something that some of you are going to freak out at. I don't think I've got silicone in any of these paints, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop some spray silicone straight in there. Okay, just a couple of squirts, and that's now on the surface of the syringe, but also on the paint that's already in there. And I'm just going to go around and keep adding. Oh, that one looks a bit thick. Keep adding more colour. Let's see if I can dig some more of this Viridian Hue green out of the pot. Alright. A little bit more silver. And just going around, layering. Come on, copper. Now, some of you might want to just do a big blob like that. It's up to you. It really is up to you how you add your paints to your syringe or your cup or whatever you're using. I'm trying to run them down the side because I want to gather that silicone up and have it in with my paints. Let's do some more blue, some more red. And some more turquoise. And some more silver. Some more white. Now the amount of paint you need depends on the amount of surface area you want to cover. And roughly, now you guys are going to get really cross with me right now, anyone that's a bit OCD, it's roughly 1 milliliter of paint per square inch of area. How do I know that? Well, it's actually square inches divided by 30, but there's 30 milliliters in a fluid ounce. So why divide by 30 when you don't have to, is my question. Alright, so I have got, can you see, I have got quite a bit of paint in there. And so next step is just to put our syringe onto there. And I'm just gonna, I'm not going to push hard while my finger's still over the edge, because I've done that before, and what happened was the paint all pushed its way back above the syringe pushy bit, and that made a real mess. So I've got more paint than I actually need, and I'm just gonna hold back. What else could I paint? Oh, I have one of these, a mini canvas. Check out those cells while I'm doing this. Let's zoom you in. They're coming out themselves, yay! So those cells are just from the spray that I had. I sprayed in there. There's no silicone mixed in with any of those paints. What can I sit there on? Put over, you guys. Make room for your new friend. Ah, that's not gonna work. Nope, that's the wrong size. Okay. So not organized. How's it get any better than that? Let's go with that. That's skinnier. You can't even see what I'm doing. Zoom out a bit. So there's the rest of the paint. Okay, so these ones are pretty much all covered. They have done their thing. Do need to check all the sides though. That's really important. But before we do that, I'm going to use this torch. Now what the torch is good for is popping any air bubbles that are in the paint. And those of you that have done resining will have done that before. Just get that to roll over the side a bit. Sometimes you need to invite the paint to play with the sides. And this is where, when you're doing 3D objects, I find having them on a Lazy Susan really helps. All right. So I'm probably 6 inches off the work. It's just enough to warm the paint, invite the silicone up. Look at all those cells. They're so pretty. Invite the silicone to the surface, and also to pop any air bubbles. Just touching the edges with this paint. What happens with paint is that it will run just like water, where the path of least resistance. Sounds like some humans. And so the path of least resistance is the bit that's already wet. So if you've got an area on your canvas or on your work that is already wet, the paint will run that way. So it pays to just pop a bit of paint all around, just so it can flow. I just put my finger in it. That wasn't cool. Alright, so let me just show you with this little canvas what you can do when you have, look at this, it's so cute. Alright, so I'm just going to tilt and allow that cells to stretch. When the silicone comes to the top, we call them cells because they kind of look like cells. Check them out. You ever seen it in the movies where they look through a microscope and they see the blood and it's got all the cells in it? That's what we've named these out of. So I'm just moving the paint around just enough as it runs over the side, grabbing it and smearing it around to help. And there we have a fully covered canvas, and by smearing the edges it has invited the paint that is running off to run down the sides reasonably evenly, so in that way taking the picture with it, so you get the edges painted too. So what's in that? There's a lump in my paint, dear Liza. One of the things you got to try and avoid when you're painting in this method is lumps in your paint. Lumps in the paint can end up, once the paint dries, sticking up, being literally lumps in the paint. And oops, sorry, you're a bit out of focus. There we go, good job, I checked that. So I'm just gonna run the torch over again, especially this one that I did all that stretching, see if there's anything else cells wise that wants to pop up. These three are very busy, especially that one. This one not so much. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you down and show you these pretty little things, and then I'm going to put them aside to dry and see if we can make any pretty pendants out of what's stripped off the bottom. So this is the one that we stretched, and you can see that those cells are a lot bigger. They're literally stretched, and that is one way of doing it. Then if we move over to these other ones, you'll see that I haven't tilted them, I haven't stretched them. Some of the cells that came up straight away have stretched as the paint has moved, but then we've got those ones in the middle there, and they literally just as they came up. Check out the sides. See, look, the paint's run down the side. You've got pretty colours down the sides too. This one looks like an Easter egg to me, but that's cool. That is very, very cute. And that one's funky, especially with that copper line through the middle. I like that. Look at those cells. They're so pretty. Wow. Alright, so I'm going to put these off to dry, and then we'll have a look at what's underneath. Alright, so this is what was underneath that had dripped off the box lids. There's a little bit of, let's turn that around so that the light is getting it. Now I've got to be really careful not to put my hands into the box lids. But I'm really liking this piece here. Sorry, auto focused. Really liking this piece here. And this piece over here, I'm going to torch and see if we've got any cells that want to come up out of that. Now if I had some tiny, small, oh, I wonder if I do. No, I don't. I have the earring bases, but I don't have the cabochons, which is a pain. If I had some little earring cabochons, I would dip those into these two little dots down here. Check them out, and these are pretty. Those would make beautiful matching earrings. Well, sort of matching. Wouldn't get any silicone cells coming up in here. But I do like that. So let's see what shape cabochons we do have. I know we've definitely got love hearts. I've got a lot of love hearts. But what I would rather put on that is a rectangle, because I really like that length. Well, actually, that's good. I have some rectangles, so I'm going to use the rectangle. So, what am I talking about? Cabochons. Cabochons are these glass, flat-backed, well, cabochons aren't, cabochon is a cut, and it describes flat back and rounded top. So these rectangles, and what I do, if I, oh, it's a bit slimy. I have a piece of poster putty or blue tack or whatever you want to call it on a stick to make a handle, so I can hold it rounded side. So I stick it to the rounded side so that I can dip the flat side into the paint. But the first thing you need to do before you dip is make sure that that flat side is very clean. Clean, clean, clean. Otherwise you're going to get something ugly looking at you through the glass. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay that down in the paint. And by doing that, I've picked up the design that was on the top of the paint there. So now I'm just going to lay that down face rounded side down, so the paint's on the top, and probably 24 hours it'll be dry, and then you can do what you like with it. Being acrylic paint on glass though, you are going to have oh look, there's some cells. It needs to be sealed. It needs something that sticks to glass and sticks and needs to completely seal the paint. Otherwise you're going to end up with the paint peeling off as soon as it gets wet. Alright, so when I torched it after we dipped like that, we got cells. So let's try something. Brain, brain, come on. Brain, brain, come on. Alright. Let's see if we get the same effect by dipping just a little bit of cardboard into that puddle there. Unleash the silicone. really exciting me, to be honest. So I might just leave it at that one pendant off this paint. But we have, that makes 5 paintings out of 1 syringe of paint. Check it out, guys. So we have the mini canvas, 1, 2, 3 box lids, and a pendant, all out of 1 syringe load of paint. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to leave this to dry, and I'll be back once it's dry to show you the finished results. So I'll be back in 3, 2, 1. Alright, well here they are. And they look very cool. I really like these. Look at that. That is just stunning. Dribbles down the side. How much would you pay for that if you saw that at a craft fair? Let me know in the comments. I like it. I like it a lot. And this one looks pretty cool too. So what I did was, what had dripped off that I didn't use on pendants, I just got a brush and I brushed it onto the bases. So we now have these cute little boxes with bases that match color-wise, but are not intense and over the top by being poured as well. So I really like those. They will be on my stand if they don't sell beforehand at the upcoming Rotorua Arts Village fair. So let me grab the other piece. So there you are, a little piece of art on an art easel. These are cool. I like these. Really handy to have on hand if you've got some spare paint in your tin to make a little pretty piece. Let me know in the comments how much you would buy that for at a little craft fair. Oh, the light is coming from the opposite direction. Let's turn it around. Alright, and now for the pendants. So here is the one you guys actually saw me dip. It has got some really pretty bits in it. Not so 100% sure about the swish down the side, but it kind of contrasts. I think if the whole thing was as busy as the right hand side, it would be too much, but I like it. I like it. Now what I did after you guys were turned off, I'm going to put that so it balances on the plant, is I did go in and do those 2 drips, and I managed to spread the paint out enough to get them to actually cover the cabochon. So this one's a little bit light on one side, so I might go back in and just touch that up with a bit of paint across the back. But they both are very pretty and they are very similar. It'd be quite heavy, I think, as earrings as they are that size, but I think you could make something pretty awesome with those 2 sort of matching pieces. Maybe a couple of them sitting next to each other on a pendant. Who knows? I like them. So there you are, guys. 1 pot of paint and 7 pieces out of that 1 small pot of paint. How does it get any better than that? And what else is possible? What else can we pour on? What other magic can we create? Those of you that would like to join the Acrylic Pouring for Fun Facebook group, please come play. I'd love to see you in there sharing and asking questions and sharing your knowledge and sharing your paintings. And join us for the Acrylic Pouring for Fun monthly challenges. So still got a couple of days left of November, and that challenge was nature inspired, and I just really enjoyed watching you guys all post that in the event page, which is pinned to the top of the group. And any ideas, any suggestions, what should we do next month's challenge? I'm looking forward to playing with whatever that is. It is Christmas, holiday season. It'd be a bit boring really, I think, but anyway, it's a good place to start. Maybe let me know in the comments what you think a challenge would be. Maybe we could do green and red and gold and not Christmassy. That would be funny. Make it green and red and gold but not look Christmassy. Interesting. I adore you all. I am so super grateful for you all tuning in. If you are looking for cabochons and pendants, check the description under the video. There are links to Amazon where you can get those. And any usage of those links helps me, because Amazon gives me a little affiliate payment, and then I can use that to buy stuff to show you guys how I do it on the channel. So thanks again for joining me. Have an amazing day. I adore you all, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye bye.